So this is great. All right, hello everyone, and welcome to Dream number two. We are about to watch the Lazy Piglets versus the Sardaukar team. The Lazy Piglets banned the Tholos, the Ferox Navy, and the Jackdaw, and the Sardaukar team banned the Abaddon, the Hyena, and the Keres. And so, taking a look at what they've bought here. So it's a Raven versus a Hyperion matchup. The Raven is in at 0. The Hyperion and the rest of his team have come in at range. So now we see whether or not they can effectively screen the Hyperion. Unless it's a Rail Hyperion, that would be a wild time. Let's have a look and see if we can see what's going on here. It looks like it's probably Blasters. But yeah, so I think effectively what the blue team wants to do is screen the Hyperion away.
Yeah, I'm back.
Then... Okay, well, I'm on air and I'm talking about the match, so feel free to join me. All right. They're about to kick off, so the
my life.
the Sardaukar team is burning in with everything they've got. Meanwhile, the Hyperion is burning away. They are trying to get themselves some range here. The broadsword, though, did not move. I don't know if that was on purpose, but that seems like it probably wasn't a great choice. And they've immediately
Dirk,
lost.
are you here?
There.
Oh, okay. All right, I know.
Cool.
Sorry.
That's all right. So the Sardaukar team is in on the Prophecy Navy. The Hyperion has burned all the way out to the edge of the arena.
Well, yeah, wants to stay away from that Raven.
Is he
that
rail?
Rush.
Is he rail guns? I can't tell. Can you tell? Are they rails? What do blasters look like? Anyway, it looks like they're going to kill the Prophecy here with the Raven, although they are going to lose their Logi. Their Osprey just went down as well. So,
Yep.
But the Dramiel's going for the Augur over there to tackle him.
And it looks like down, they get some projection off the field, which really doesn't help them that much. I mean, it's just DPS that goes off. It's not because they're all in.
But look how far out the hype is. He's like right at the edge of the arena.
I mean, he just has to live. And once enough DPS goes down, he doesn't have broadsword and
yeah. If they can just keep the Raven tackled, he needs to be what, like 50 from him to be safe.
I think so.
From the torpedoes. So the broadsword is going to tackle the Devoter.
Very good screening.
Yeah, the Dramiel has the orb tackled, so we'll see if they can kill him.
I don't think Dramiel will do too much to Scorch, but
this is like the Rail Hyperion is that's wild, but it's working, you know.
Absolutely. Mira just MJD'd across the arena.
Amazing. This is
Didn't he? Or no? No, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, no, he did. He MJD'd into the center, like as the Raven came out to him. That's a play. And now the Raven.
What'd you say, what was that?
Yeah, it is a Torp Raven. It's a Torpedo Raven, and against a Rail Hyperion. So he's done well. He's keeping away, and he's just applying damage from across. They still have a Devoter to keep the Raven in place. So I don't think they're going to get to him. Like, I think he can just basically sit out at range, plink the broadsword down, and then they don't really have a way to catch him. And then at that point, it's just free for the Devoter and the Hyperion to just kill the Raven. Wow. That's
excellent screening.
Yeah.
Logi Scorch is just doing his thing. It doesn't even matter if he's tackled by a Dramiel. Does not matter. They have rep drones.
Their Logi stayed alive the whole time. And again, a Maulus. Like, this is the third time we've seen one, and it lives, you know?
Yeah, with the right pilot, Flying does the job, I would say.
Well, but here's the thing, right? Like, here's the thing. The Carries was banned, yeah. Carries and Hyena are both banned, but they had on the blue team, they had Dramiel. So wouldn't you just send the Dramiel after the Morse, like right at the start?
Think, yeah, that would be something that they would want to do.
I don't think that happened.
It would pull reps off of the PNI, which maybe they could have killed quicker and then maybe moved to something else. But
the Raven
not using their tackle ship they use in that slot 6 to go after their the opponent's slot 6 that effectively just
he went and
shut down the Logi and make it come in. Like I think it would have been huge.
He went and tackled the Org though, and they didn't really do anything with that.
I mean, they couldn't because it was too far, right?
Yeah.
Only the Dramiel and the drones could probably hit up that far.
Yeah, I mean, they had a broadsword. They could have sent that, but I think the broadsword was being counter-scrammed by the Devoter, and so they weren't really able to go anywhere. Yeah, and so now it's just the Raven chasing the Hyperion around the arena, but he's just been scrammed by the Devoter, so now the Hyperion, the Hyperion can just go where he needs to go. He's just burning straight out at the moment.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was there wondering if the Hyperion was potentially going to make another MJD play, but there's just no need. There's no need to.
No, he can. Yeah, he can just fly around the edge of the arena basically at this point, or like he doesn't even need to do that. He just needs to go to optimal and just stop his ship basically. Like, as long as like, oh, there goes the Raven. If the Raven was shooting Rage, like I think his maximum range with torpedoes is like about 48 kilometers. So the Hyperion just needs to go to 50 and stop and just shoot him from there. But there you go. The Rail Hyperion takes that one. What a wild, wild time.
Well, that's again, the thing. Mira and Tuskers bring out a pocket comps and absolutely dominate.
Yeah. So we've seen a Rail Hyperion today. We've also seen a Rail Roke. I've seen a lot of Ravens as well. I was watching the other stream, and I saw like 3 Raven comps in a row.
The Torp Raven is apparently like kind of meta this time around.
So, we tried the Torp Raven a bit, and it's an interesting thing. I think, like
we've not had. I don't think I'm giving too much away when I say that we tried it and didn't have too much success. But a lot of teams keep bringing it.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think, my opinion, for those who are listening, is that what happens is people try things in their practices, and they kind of luck into the one matchup where it's really strong, and it gives them a false sense of what is good. And then you end up we've fallen victim to this before in the past, where you think something's good and you spend too long thinking it's good, and then all of a sudden it turns out it's not, particularly in
hate that. I hate that.
Yeah. But in this particular type of matchup, like if you have good screening, then you can effectively keep the Raven for a close range damage ship. It really does project quite far, like with faction you can shoot out to like almost 60, so like you can still do damage a long way, but against a Rail Hyperion that can probably lock you and shoot you out to 150, if you're screened off, you're not really going to be doing that much. So anyway, that was interesting. Yeah. So what do we got next? Next is Seriously Suspicious and Team Pony.
Team Pony?
Team Pony?
Team Pony. Oh no, this is not a match. Our next one will be Arrival on All Else Fails because Team Pony dropped out.
Okay.
Cool. Have we confirmed that they are done for the second match as well?
I mean, there's no bans there.
Give me 2 seconds. Yeah. I'll check with the referees.
Sorry, okay. I wasn't sure. I should call something I don't know. Oops. My bad, chat.
My bad. Badicus. Well, seriously suspicious have banned the Cyclone Fleet, the Drake Navy, and the Jackdaw. I guess they really don't want. I guess that's one way of banning like the kite.
Because what else? I mean, and takes away some of the rush as well. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
But I feel like with the Jackdaw being banned, they don't want to see E-War frigs.
Yeah.
Well, they want to bring their E-War frigs, so the Jackdaw doesn't apply. But I mean, the Orthrus is still open. Osprey Navy's still open. I mean, Vedmex. So there's so many ships that can kill the E-War frigs too. I think that I don't know. Jackdaw ban. Not sure. Not sure the validity of that ban.
That's the thing, though. These days, there's just so many ships that do stuff.
All right, so we do have confirmation that the next match will not be taking place. Team Pony are out for that one too. So Team Pony have gone 0-2 by dint of just not showing up today.
All right, well that's our first team that got knocked out of the tournament here.
Yeah. Commiserations, Team Pony. Congratulations, Seriously Suspicious, on your victory in this match. So
congrats on getting to the main tournament.
So next up, then let's we've got some minutes then. So next is Arrival. Arrival, and if all else fails,
let's just call the other match since it's live.
Let's talk about the other one.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's.
So Grief Team 6, which is the other half of Tuskers versus Not Dead Yet, which are guys I don't know, or actually just took out Wex, who. The Dominex. Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, this is a drone comp, right? The Dominex, the Navy Merm.
This is drone control with the Ashamu, the Navy Myrmidon, the Dominex. Yeah. Those high slots are all going to be full of newts.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a miserable experience.
I mean, they got to catch up to the other team though. To apply those newts, right?
But they've got a really tough matchup with those newts because the Scorpion, the Fleet Cyclone, the Onyx, these are all ships that don't need cap to fire their guns. Like, the damage is still coming.
Yeah. And the Scorpion, I mean, the Scorpion's not getting any newts on it because it's so far away with the Osprey out there.
He's miles away.
Jam whatever he needs to, which is really just the Augur in this case.
And what else?
No damps, anything on the field. That's all out of it. So, there's no Mollusk, so... I really think this is just a sweep. This is kind of wild to see.
It's a little hard for me to tell because of the angle that it's at, but
yeah, definitely.
The Cyclone Fleet looks like it's in really close. Like I wonder if he has hands. I don't know. There's a lot of drones chasing that Hawk around at the moment.
It's a lot of waste.
It's a Fleet Cyclone and it's in close. It's gonna be hams.
Yeah. I just thought maybe it was like the angle I was viewing it, like the screen is currently at, and like it was actually like further down under. But I'm pretty sure it's like right in there on top of that Pontifex.
The Team 6 has to.
The Pontifex I thought was dead. It's showing as dead on the overlay.
It is dead. I don't see it.
The thing that I always find really tricky with the fancy UI as well, especially when you're trying to look at this as a viewer rather than as somebody who's got inside kind of access to the arena and everything. The fancy UI shows jam attempts and not successful jams.
Right.
So you're here going that Scorpion could have been doing a huge amount of work, or that Scorpion could have been doing nothing, and either way the jam attempts show, right?
Yeah. We don't know if the org is actually jammed right now. We can only assume. So
it's really rough.
I'm gonna say it probably is. I mean, it's web now, so it's
I'm surprised about to see this Tholos not putting dots on everything. I don't know what Destron is doing.
Well, I mean, at this point I don't think it matters. It's gonna be a 6-0.
I mean, they don't want to feed it, right? There's no reason to feed it, no reason to go in there. They have complete control.
Yeah.
Like to see that. Like to see that Tholos just become, what it did in the first time we saw it was just shooting, dotting everything, and just everything starts taking damage over time, and you're just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, he was doing his job, in that spot, just holding the org down, and now it's just the Ashimer. He can't newt everything to save his life, so He's gonna get.
Yeah. This is a feels bad man moment when you're like the last man standing in an Ashimu and there's just nothing you can do.
Yeah. I mean, you could mute the Tholos and run away.
I mean, like last man. If you were last man standing in the Dominix or the Navy Merm, you might like feel as if you could take something out still. And
yeah. Oh.
But an Ashimu, feels bad.
Poor little guy.
There was a boundary violation. Apparently.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Zich Mesa and the Crucifier boundaried at 185.6, which is like not terrible.
Pretty good. Good job, Zich.
Yeah, the Ashimu also decided that he wasn't waiting around to be killed and boundaried at 125.
Did the Hawk boundary as well to go with him? Because he died. That was the only thing that died. Hey, they killed something.
The Hawk, I think boundaried himself.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Good work.
But yeah, so there is some conversation in Twitch chat here on our second arena casting couch kind of stream.
Oh yeah, let me open up that so I can see what's going on.
About how the rules are for this tournament, what kind of the format is.
We can.
Got thoughts?
We can talk about
any
the
bits
format.
Of opinions while we're waiting for the next match to start?
It's interesting. The format of like the 6 ships with one of each type it does force some different thoughts about like how you build things. Like I personally have thoughts on rapid heavies in this format. I feel like they are probably not as strong as they are in other formats where you can bring multiple rapid heavy ships. Some things
you really have to make sure all application is on it. You have enough application and something is tackled. Like if nothing's tackled and you don't kill in that first clip, man. But if you do, then it's a force. Then you're executing it the way it needs to be, and it can be powerful. It's just I feel like if you're gonna bring rapid heavies, you got to be prepared to shoot other things. So it makes the logic pick between this burst DPS or the thing that can die to the rest of the DPS. And if you like earlier, they had an Orthrus when they had a rapid heavy Foon, and you can have that opportunity to shoot multiple targets and make that Logi get just an extreme amount of pressure and have to choose, what dies, what lives, what dies. And sometimes in a match, the Logis have to make those quick decisions, and it can determine the rest of the match.
The other thing, like one of the other things I've kind of like you kind of notice like as you watch the matches is with so few ships and like giving up, not necessarily giving up, but like almost in a lot of cases being forced to kind of take a like E-War frigates are pretty powerful. Like there's been Moluses in the last few matches that have been doing a lot of work. Like the Hyena is just always strong. The Carries are strong. Like the Carries is banned most of the time. Like looking at these matches, I don't think there's been a single one yet. There's one, which is the next match, is the only one where the Carries hasn't been banned. So like it's super strong in the E-War slot. But you've got an E-War frigate, you've got a command destroyer, you've got a logistics cruiser. So of your 6 ships that you're allowed, realistically, in most cases, only 3 of them are doing damage at any given time. So you really need to like, there's not a lot of room for error. Like in like the less people you have, like the less you can really mess it up, if you want to win. And so like executing well is kind of made even more powerful, like you see like matches where like Hyperions, like non-rail Hyperions, like blaster Hyperions, like teams that can effectively like screen the Hyperion away, all of a sudden your damage is being reduced to like a battle cruiser and maybe a cruiser, like depending on which choice you've made in that slot. So it's like it's you need to do it properly or else you're going to struggle, like particularly in those like rush comps. So Let me see.
I mean that is one of the things about the sort of very level playing field that tournaments bring, right? Like when you're always talking about 6v6, 7v7 for the Anger Games, 10v10 for the AT currently, like these events are very much a test of skill rather than who can bring numbers. And this is why we all love them and why we all spend so much time practicing for them and all of that. But you do have a very fair point that like this particular one, the Captain's Cup, Charity Cup as we're calling it now because Jintan is trying to raise money for some really good causes. Like this 6v6 format is so restrictive because other formats will just say, hey, here's a list of points. You have 7 slots. Do whatever you like within the slots. Whereas this is very definitely one battleship that is T1, one battle cruiser that is T1 or faction, so no command ships for boosts or anything in that range. You will have one Logi ship for sure. You are guaranteed to have a Logi ship. You can't have an all-in rush that just like hull tanks and goes for broke. So these leveling rules are really interesting, but also they do mean that when you come to these matches, you are finding that there's only so many things that you can do with that, right?
Yeah, like, so I believe, I can't say 100% for sure, but I believe that we have seen almost every battleship so far. Like I've seen a Tempest, there's been Maelstroms, there was we've seen Rokes and Ravens, we've seen Abaddons. So I guess we're missing one. No, there was a Scorpion as well. What's the third Gallente one? Dominic's, Hyperion, and
Megathron.
I haven't seen a Mega, but that doesn't mean that they haven't been run because I haven't watched all of the Stream 1 matches. But you know, like people have tried basically every combination of battleships with stuff. I do think that the way that it's set up with the allowing navy or faction battle cruisers, it kind of pushes out any of the non-faction ones, right? Because like, is there any non-faction battle cruiser that's strictly better than a faction one, you know, in any of the slots? Like I think that's kind of a thing you'll just never see. So, you know, you're kind of forcing the specific things there. But we've seen all the kinds of Logi as well. So like all 4, I think, like I've seen a Scythe somewhere. Certainly in practice I've seen Scythes. So it's the Railroad though, that was cool. I really like that. That was a good idea. And then like the interesting things of like how you deal with the various types of battleships. Like the Armageddon is a pretty common ban just because it's like you look at the spread of ships that it can run up against, and it's just strong against the Gallente ships, and except the Dominics. It's strong against all of the Amarr ships. It's strong against the Scorpion and the Rogue. It's weak against the Raven and the Maelstrom and the Tempest because those don't require cap to shoot, and so it's like you kind of like you can get a handle on. I try to not read too much into the bans, but because I'm just not good at it. But you know, you can maybe get a handle on what kind of things people want to bring based on which battleship they're trying to ban. But you know, it's hard to ban a rush because there's so many ways to do it.
Yeah, many ways to run it in this format.
Yeah, and we saw like the autocannon like hail Maelstrom earlier on. That was a really strong thing. It got in there on the whatever it was trying to kill and just blew it apart at close range. I think it was a Raven.
It was a Raven, I believe.
Yeah, and he just like, it's like there's ways to do things like in the bigger.
Ooh, the other stream, Nanite versus Evasive.
Okay.
They just lost their carries. Oh no. Scorpion Kitsune. This is
versus an Abaddon. Oh, a
so
Skykiller Russian flying the Scorpion.
There's so much the carries could have done in that match, and they're dying probably to Confessor and Navy Prophecy and Phobos.
What's he's trying to jam the Abaddon and he's trying to jam the Org at the moment. So, and the Navy Prophecy, he's spreading those jams around. Meanwhile, the Phobos is being neutered, probably by the Ashimu is my guess. Also, I wonder if the Scorpion has like missiles, like cruise missiles in the top, or it's just all newts.
How far away is that Scorpion from everything? That
Scorpion's
they can kill. Yeah, look at this evasive maneuvering. Augur taking some significant amount of DPS.
He's only.
Well, their Kitsune taking DPS. That takes a lot of the control away, because then they can just all project onto the Scorpion and do DPS to it.
Yeah, the Scorpion.
Seems like Kepler's just getting out of trouble. He's such a good pilot. Oh my gosh.
I was going to say the Scorpion's at like 20 kilometers from the center. So.
Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm saying, right? If you were talking about Scorpion that's cruise missiles, you bring that thing in at like 50 kilometers, because you can reach out and touch wherever. Whereas if you're like a rapid heavy, for example, and I don't think we've seen a lot of rapid heavy missile ships.
No, I think only the Typhoon is the one that you would see it.
But if it were a rapid heavy Scorp with ECM mids, you might bring it in at 20.
Yeah.
Or if you were going for the torpedoes that apparently people seem to like.
Or you could do you could run all newts in your high slots. And
Blaze
then
is
just
doing a good job staying alive for how long he is against these guys. I know they don't have a lot of DPS incoming, but
full control Scorpion is a concept.
Yeah, like that would just be I mean, it either works or it doesn't, you know? Like, it's one of those...
Confessor's taking a lot of DPS, and the reps are just switching to it. I think he's going to get reps off. I don't think they're going to be able to snap through it before the reps hit. And there it is.
Yeah,
look back up. With that Kitsune ban, though, you could see definitely something happen here to get some control off the board and for those guys to finally make something happen before.
There's a lot of a damage spread here. There's a lot of a damage spread here from the Nanite team trying to just get something.
Yeah.
Well, the Abaddon is currently shooting at the Kitsune, right? Like, but he has So here's another thing that I've kind of like watched these matches. With the you know.
I mean, if that Abaddon just stopped moving, he might actually hit that Kitsune. But
when you're running like at max 3, maybe 4 damage ships in total, like the power of like rep drones is really, really, really enhanced, you know, like, so, like, that Kitsune just has that, like, it's got, like, a flock of rep drones on top of him at the moment, chasing around, like, it looks like there's got to be, like, at least 10, you know, like, and that makes it, it's almost like...
Scorpion taking some DPS, I mean, it still has an Augur up, but...
Yeah, the Scorpion is now actually taking damage.
It's just that Ashimu needs to be held, like... It's
an armor
right
Scorpion
now, so it can't do anything. But
it's an armor Scorpion, you know. The tank isn't super big.
Well, yeah, it's the jams that make it.
But I mean,
it still has an Augur out there. Like, without the Ashimu doing something, like it's just
the Abaddon's jammed at the moment, right? Or he's attempting to jam him.
Yeah.
So he doesn't really have much in the way of options anyway. Like, he might only be able to shoot the Scorpion. Okay, we're getting some things coming.
Oh, okay.
So let's. I'm gonna go over here.
All right.
Kind of focus back in on our own.
Yes.
Arrival and all else fails.
Arrival
ban Arbitrator, Crucifier, Sentinel. So they either want to bring a kite missile comp or kite rail turret comp or an armor projection comp.
So as far as colors are concerned here, Arrival is the red team, and if all else fails is the blue team. So hang on, let's lock the dudes first so we can see what's going on.
Remember, we're on.
Yeah, that's fine. So Arrival is in an armor comp, an armor control comp with an Armageddon, a Prophecy Navy, an Org, a Carries, a Devoter, and a Pontifex, and if all else fails, is in a shield comp with a Raven. They did come in at range though, so this one might not be a Torpedo Raven. So let's see what they do and we'll figure it out. They do have a Carries. Is it a Carries? It is a Carries. So the Carries is not banned here, which could play problems for the Prophecy Navy. Does the Armageddon have guns? Let's have a look. Or is he a full newt? No, he definitely has. Are they missile launchers?
Well, yes, that's all they can fit.
Yep. So the Armageddon does have guns, so he's not a full newt getting.
Okay, matches off.
Osprey taking immediate damage.
Onyx is pushing in. Bifrost is pushing in. Drake Navy pushing in on this armor core here.
Although it looks like maybe the Carries is doing work because the Osprey has stopped taking damage now.
Yeah. Now,
he's also really
far. A lot of DPS. Okay, let's see if he gets much significant DPS he's taken. The Drake Navy taking a lot of DPS. They're gonna need that Osprey to push back in, and he's have to get real close and put himself under new pressure to get reps on this Drake Navy. And they need to do this like right now.
He is burning in right now. Like I can see him coming in. He can kind of position, if he positions himself right, he will be on the far side of the
Look at that Devoted
again.
Going right, just burning right in.
The Bifrost of the
Devoter just got him.
Yeah, the Bifrost of the did he? No, he looks like he got away.
Oh, he did.
He must have gone past
Onyx
him.
turned around and went on to something else. Okay.
Meanwhile, on the other side,
big damage.
On the other side, the Org is being tackled by the Bifrost, and he's quite far. Like he's out on the edge of the arena, so he's probably still in range to rep at the moment, and he is doing so. But the Osprey's still free, like.
Yeah, I mean, how
the
Howling Wind
entering
is tackled by the Bifrost. It looks like. Yeah. Oh, the other team.
The Osprey is just taking damage from the
PNI.
Prophecy. Yeah,
and he's just gonna get nuked at this point. The Osprey's down. He's done. Now
the Drake Navy
some small damage on Howling, but this is the snowball moment.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Like they just like, and in this case,
the second team knocked out here, huh?
In this case, like you can see the difference, I think, in bringing damage on your Armageddon. Like, yeah, the newt, like having a full newt getting is powerful, but like if the other team just stays 45 away from you,
then... Where did that DPS come? Holy shit! Did you see the fucking the
Armageddon language?
Took... Oh, can we get in trouble? Is that a thing?
No, I just
There
could be children. Yeah, that Drake went down really fast, and now it's going to be the Raven.
That Armageddon was like half armor and went into hull with one shot.
It's probably a Torpedo Raven.
In a shock to nobody in this format, it might be a Torpedo Raven.
It might be a Torpedo Raven. He is, like, he's been tackled the entire time, but he is pretty close still, so, like, he's within, like, maybe 20 of the Geddon, so he can still apply with Rage, so it is a lot of damage, but at this point, again...
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, it was just, like, it just went from totally comfortable to it went into hull. One shot, I was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen that happen yet.
Again, though, we see here that, like, as you start to lose your damage ships, like when the Navy Drake went down, like all of a sudden the damage drops off, and it's kind of killing stuff under reps is really hard unless you have a Hyperion, you know, like which can do it.
You've got to be able to throw out an absolute ton of DPS to kill stuff under reps, and like in this format, it's worth noting that killing stuff under reps with the right comp is completely possible.
Right? Absolutely.
You can break things against an Augurer wrapping it. But you've got to pick the right thing. And a Prophecy Navy is a relatively tanky ship. A Devoter is a very tanky ship. And an Armageddon, you know, it's not the most tanky MR ship out there, but it's not horrendously
it can be held up with an auger.
It can be held up with an auger. You've
and
really
it has
kinda,
carries, like any kind of projection, it can stop. So
you've got to push through that augurer in this particular matchup. You've got to push through that augurer in order to be able to then get into the DPS.
Sorry, especially with a Logi pilot like Howling Wind, very very good Logi pilot in the competitive scene. Not putting pressure on him makes it very easy for the rest of their team, especially with a carries there. It's just really easy for them to go screen, make sure everything has links, gives the Pontifex the ability to free range where it needs to be, screen or tackle if need be, sacrifice itself to make sure that other ships die. Like I really liked what they did there with that armor comp with the Armageddon. That was good. That was good.
I was gonna say one of the things kind of like that's interesting about like the way that you kind of approach how you like, particularly with most ships, like, I mean, yeah, we saw a Rail Hyperion and a Rail Rogue like instead of blasters, and like those are situationally like they have their places and they worked in the comps we saw them in. But you know, like with only a single rapid heavy ship not being super strong, like Torpedo Ravens are kind of like, most of the battleships kind of have a default choice for how you do it. The Geddon is the one where like you there's like an actual decision to be made, and in this case, I think it shows the strength of having actual damage on there, because the Raven the Raven is not susceptible to newts in the sense that it will still be able to apply damage, like even if it's neuted out. And so if you have a full newt Geddon, it can newt out the Raven, but the Raven can just shoot the Geddon. You know, it can just apply torpedo damage like constantly. Whereas in this case, you newt the Raven enough that it turns off its tank mods, and then you also have like rapid heavy damage on top of that to actually do something about the Raven that you've neuted out. You know, so like there's like that thought like process of like how you make that decision. Is it going to be full newts? Is it going to have some guns on it? And it's like, in this case, having the damage actually was probably the changer, because otherwise you're asking your Prophecy Navy and your Devoter to do a lot of work, like damage wise.
Oh yeah, without that damage, I think that would have been a much different matchup. Yeah, if that Armageddon was full newts, oof.
Yeah, so anyway,
the drone DPS just isn't there without some kind of missile, you know, whatever missile platform they desire. Like,
well, as soon as they lost their Logi though, that was basically it. It all fell apart.
Yeah. Ooh, Rage sub cancel quit and Yeet.
Oh yeah, let's have a look.
Oh, look at that. Raven, Drake, Onyx, Osprey, Tholos for Rage cancel.
And Yeet Fleet, Raven. So it's is this? It's almost a mirror, but
almost a mirror. Ooh,
they've chosen different frigates. Harpy versus Jaguar. What do you think? Which one would you prefer here, the Harpy or the Jag?
Harpy.
Harpy?
I mean, we used it a lot in AG6. I liked it.
So what's happening? They're just
the Harpy's got that. The Harpy's got that local tank bonus.
Yeah.
The Tholos
really
away just taking a shit ton of DPS. They need to get that out of there, because if they're all in like that, he's gonna be dotting everything, and everything will start taking a decent amount of damage shortly. As long as he just gets it spread out.
Yeah, but the dot doesn't stop when the Tholos dies, so he just needs to like get those
do
dots
it,
out.
and
if he dies early on, then that's a shame. But like he's
already
done his work, right?
Yeah, for another minute and a half.
But like, look how much damage.
It's so low, and all I'm seeing. Okay, so the other Tholos is taking some damage, and some of the Navy Drake. Maybe he did dot a little bit. It's just.
It looks like Yeet Fleet's Raven though. Like the Tholos just absorbed. Even if he dies now, he's just absorbed like a minute's worth of shooting.
Yeah. DPS, because look, they're trading at Tholos for not even trading at Tholos for a Raven.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know.
now you're asking your Navy Drake to do a lot of work. You know,
I look at that lineup by Rage Sub.
I mean,
Nicholas,
you've got to love this mirror match, though, right?
Yeah. Well, the mirrors are interesting because it shows like how different teams kind of process what's important. You know, where Rage Sub here has clearly identified that the Raven on the other team is the most important thing, whereas Yeet Fleet primary.
They were really scared about that dot damage for sure.
Yeah, and in the end, it cost them, right? Because like
it has
when you tunnel vision like that and just waste a minute of your damage trying to kill something that isn't going to die. Again, we see the power of rep drones because he had a cloud of them on him, and so yeah, that's an interesting kind of thought process on what targets matter,
right.
And Rage Sub made the better choices. And now it's going to. It's also interesting in like the sense of how most of the matches feel very kind of snowbally. Like when you lose one thing, all of a sudden everything else seems to fall over. Like we don't really see things going the distance. You know, like there's not a lot of...
Sometimes you would think sometimes you would see that in this, like a solo ship kind of doing its thing, being built in a comp to stay alive, where a lot of these comps are built around everything in it, and once that one ship falls, it just the domino effect just happens. It's nothing you can do. It's just an eventual time. I mean, not killing the Tholos, killing the Tholos and then moving on to another ship would have been good, but they didn't even kill the Tholos to be able to have the ability to do that.
It feels a bit like sunk cost stuff, Like they spent so long shooting the Tholos that like they feel like kind of like you feel like you have to kill it because you've wasted so much time trying to kill it. The other thing there is like just because you're bringing an all-in damage battleship like the Raven or the Hyperion doesn't necessarily mean you have to start at 0, Like and in that case,
looks like we have we have people coming in here, so we maybe
do
we start talking about the bands for this next match.
Yeah. Cool. So this is going to be No Victories versus Post Pod Clarity. So No Victories is the red team and Post Pod Clarity is the blue team. And the bans are for No Victories, they ban the Carries and the Maulus. They really don't want to see those damps. And the Tholos. And Post Pod Clarity ban the Typhoon, the Raven, and the Carries. And we are going to see dueling armor comps. On the No Victories side, they have gone with a Megathon and a Prophecy Navy. An Exec, a Celestis, a Sentinel, and a Pontifex. So after banning both the Maulus and the Carries, they bring a Sentinel. And then on the other team, it's another Armageddon with a Merm Navy. So this looks like it's a drone comp. They've also bought an Arbitrator. So it's a drone comp versus a mega comp, and both of them.
Full Newt?
Let's have a look and see what we can see. Let's see if he's got hard points on him. This is a full Newt Armageddon. So now we're going to see the difference. And then on the other side, the Mega, they've come in at range. I wonder if this is... I wonder, Radicos. Those look like... They look like railguns to me! All right! It's happening!
I mean, with the Sentinel on grid here for both sides, it doesn't really matter for the blue team for PPC, but it is going to be a big thing against No Victories here.
I tell you what, if that's the rail mega that we scrimmed against last weekend, that thing is actually fucking dangerous.
Yeah. it can definitely work.
It can hit out to like 130 or some shit like
nothing can hide from it. Like it was the same as the Rail Rogue, right? Like with
or like a
long range ammo.
Scorpion, right?
Yeah,
the bubble of damage prediction around that ship is just basically the entire arena.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
And they have a very good battleship pilot to be able to do that, especially with Meta Boss. Man, this is gonna be an interesting match for PPC to go up against here.
It's a lot of tracking disruption though.
Yeah.
Like depending on how the So let's go back and look at the bands real quick.
I mean, see. From AG or even last Captain's Cup, I think it was, or the Captain's Cup, the original one that was similar to this. That was the meta is just banning out the shield and the damps, and then bringing drones and bring disruption.
Yeah.
And I think the only difference is you can't bring faction here. So I think that'll make a big deal against this.
It certainly means
those newts, that's gonna be interesting. All right, matches going. We're going. We're cooking.
Yep. So
okay, so teams just look like they're jockeying for position. Obviously they're going to get in and get those newts on.
I think looking at the bans, given that post-pod Clarity banned both the Typhoon and the Raven, I suspect that their arbitrator is full gun, like anti-gun fit.
Absolutely. Yep. That was the meta. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. Is that was the meta, is just like going full gun because you can ban out the missiles.
Yeah.
Mirim Navy is pushing in real hard. Aram Moliko pushing in real hard, just trying to get on something, which my guess would be the Celestis at the very least.
Well, they're currently, I mean, something is able to shoot. The Mega and the Prophecy are applying some damage to the Org, but not a lot. So I think that the Arbitrator is doing its thing.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile,
the Sentinel's taking DPS, yeah.
Yeah, post-pod Clarity's trying to kill the Sentinel.
I mean,
all the drones are in. He's got 5 or so drones. The Arbitrator he's really going for it. He's like
and
flying
a cloud of red bots around him. They're just ready for them to make that swap. While
I feel like
Nymph in the Augur for PPC is slowly taking damage, but he's repping, seems like, pretty well. But this is something where the Megathron just needs to stay away, and just apply and not mess his own. Make sure he gets good transversals and going too quick.
He's flying
moving right now.
Yeah,
but he's just trying to get away as best he can.
Meanwhile, what's down here? Let's have a look. What's going on in the middle of the arena? So we've got the Prophecy Navy of Razor.
Yeah, he's screened by what's his name? Elder.
The Merm Navy has him currently scrammed, and he's being neutered by the Armageddon as well at the same time. This one, I think,
if he can't get any DPS out, he can't apply to what they need to shoot, which is Zeriak or Nymph.
Right, which means that if they newt him out as well and he can't shoot, it means that the Arbitrator can focus all of his disruption on the Megathron, right? And that basically, because they've chosen to go with a Celestis over an Ashamu or some kind of Hick, it means that all their damage is in those 2 ships.
Mm-hmm.
And now their exec's taking damage. So.
Yeah, I mean, the logic trade has to be made here, but another thing that they need to put a lot of pressure on is Slave Matt in the Celestis. He is hanging around with his exec buddy, Beta. They don't really have anything chasing them at the moment, so they're safe-ish.
He is taking damage from, they're slowly chipping him down with drones. But he does have, here's the thing, he's got heavy armor maintenance bots following him, but he's outrunning them currently, which means he's also outrunning the heavy damage drones, right? So he's only taking damage.
Doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know why they have heavy drones when they should have medium drones on that.
I think they've identified the fact that they are unable to kill anything else as long as the Logis are alive. Although now they've pulled the drones off, they're going back. So we'll see what they're going to do with them now. You know, meanwhile, the Org on the blue team.
They have these acolytes on the Augur, and I mean, you'd think they'd do some counterplay with their smaller drones to kill these, because the Augur's just taking DPS from that.
I mean, I feel like I'd be using my Sentinel here to go and sit on the Logi, right? Like, instead of... Like, currently, the Sentinel of Zaffin is, like, on muting out the Arbitrator, I guess, to try and turn off his disruption. But on the other side, like, Zarak, where's he? He's neuting the other Sentinel, so both the Sentinels are kind of locked in a
little handshake,
like a handshake with each other.
They're in a suck-off.
They're in a suck-off, which seems to me they would be better. Although the Org's dying anyway.
Like, I mean, he's been so much pressure this whole match. He's gonna have that.
Yeah.
If they kill this Pontifex, that would be good to take some links away from the No Victories team. If they can do it before the Aug dies, but look at the reps. See, Betaboss is on that like it's nothing, you know.
But now he's taking damage again.
Yep.
But I mean, if he starts moving, he can start outrunning the drones again. Meanwhile, the Org on the other side, I guess maybe the Sentinel finally managed. Yeah, I think the Sentinel must have finally managed to newt out the Arbitrator, which has allowed the Mega to do damage.
If they trade Logis, this is going to be a nice fight. Okay, so now Nymph goes down to the Augur. Is Betaboss going to get zonked?
He's bleeding structure, but there's that immediate like damage onto Zariak. There's that immediate damage onto the Arbitrator. Like
this snowballs so quickly for that.
Betaboss has had to turn a bit, but it looks like he's getting away again.
I think he's getting away again. Yeah, he's just running.
Yeah, I mean that's always the problem.
He's so good. Like when we had to go against them as AG6, when we ran double paladins against their Cinnables and Simmies, like it was difficult. I mean, it was good for us because we were in laser boats. We could just switch back and forth, you know, to keep that damage. But like he did a freaking good job in that match. And again, here he is doing the same. Here goes Zariak, captain here, about to go down for the PPC team.
They
also,
might
trading Zapin.
They traded the Sentinels. That's not bad. And under reps as well. So like that we see again what we were talking about earlier. In this format, you do not necessarily need to be able to like kill the Logi in order to get kills. Yeah. But you do have to be able to push through those Logi reps and make that damage apply. And it seems like that's happening now.
That Arbitrator going is not good for that team.
The Arbitrator went very quickly there.
Yeah, I think what happened was he just eventually capped out, and the Sentinel just like put so much newt pressure on him that he capped out. And at that point, like even though the Prophecy has been basically being neutered by the Geddon and the
it doesn't matter. They have a Mega to do the DPS.
Right, but while the Arbitrator was up and had cap, the Mega was unable to effectively apply the damage that it had with its rails because it was being tracking disrupted. But as soon as so I can understand the Sentinel choice on their team to go and sit on the Arbitrator instead of chasing the Logi, because that would then free up the Mega to be able to shoot, and then it could kill the Logi. Whereas the Prophecy Navy is shooting every now and again when he can inject, but you know, the thing here is he's basically been a sponge for the while the Geddon is neuting the Prophecy, he's not neuting anything else. And here we also see the difference in not having weapons on your Geddon, you know? Neuting out the Prophecy is good, but in the end, it you know, had he had missiles or something, maybe they would have killed the exec, you know? He may have been able to apply some damage to the Executor, which is finally going to die, maybe, by the looks of things.
Yeah, I think he has. I mean,
I think there he
goes down, but it's so late.
Like, it is, but both of the damage boats that they have are still alive here, right? Like the Armageddon still has its drones. The Merm still has its drones, although he is going to run out of charges.
They could kill the Prophecy Navy here. They take away that DPS. I mean, they should be able to kill now. They should be able to get through their slot 4 and 5, or 3 and 5 right now. But with that Muram Navy just eating absolute shit right now, I think I just don't see him, because obviously he had an Ansel that's been running, and that's helped, but Mega Navy is just going unchecked.
And with
he should also
go.
Yeah. They need to kill the Celestis. I would be trying to kill, I don't know, the Ponti?
I think they'd be just killing DPS, because that's what they need to kill. Like, they need to kill DPS to stay alive for themselves. It's not like this rep is keep going.
At the time that we were talking about it, 30 seconds ago, a minute and a half ago, if they'd killed the Navy Prophecy and they'd killed the Celestis, they would have been up on points for sure.
Yep.
Right, and that really needed to be the focus of, where is our win condition? But there's just nothing left on it here. This is
unfortunately
this is going to go to a
shooting
points win overall.
Yep.
5 seconds.
I think the Merms also run out of Ansel charges. Like, it's only repping on Cap now. So
yeah.
Well, it took a while.
Took a whole 10 minutes.
I think
fight. Congrats, no victories. PPC now 1-1, and they. Who else is in their group here?
So I was going to say, though, my thought process here is I think that post-pod clarity, I feel that their Sentinel would have been better used chasing down the Logi of the other team. Like, I know why, like, I understand why the No Victory Sentinel was doing what it was doing, because it was attempting to deal with the Arbitrator to allow the Mega to be able to apply its damage. But I don't think sending your Sentinel then to sit on their Sentinel is a good counterplay. I feel like going after the Logi would have been better, because had they had him on better boars, he would have muted him out, which would have slowed him down, which would have allowed the drones to actually catch up and apply.
And apply well, because he's not
right
around.
Instead of allowing him to just kind of outrun heavies the entire time. So
I see aggressively mid-tier is knocking Certified Tentacles out of feeders on the other stream. They have APOC, Prophecy Navy, Ashimu, Augur, Pontifex, Kitsu against the Maelstrom Rush. Except they had a Ferox Navy in there in that rush. And they had a Stork. That. Was it a rush, or are they RDs? And I just don't know, because I don't have the sound on. I don't know.
On
the first stream.
The Maelstrom?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels so weak compared to
being able to use barrage at like 6.
Yeah. Like, they just don't cycle fast enough, and like, I mean, maybe you could blow up logistics, but I don't think it's as good as like the rail alternatives, like the artillery cannons.
Yeah.
But it does look like it's going to be a clean sweep here for aggressive.
Jaguar should just be running for the boundary.
Yeah. But yeah, APOC, Navy Prophecy, Ashimu, Augur, Pontifex, Kitsune is pretty strong.
Oh yeah.
All right, so what do we got next? Deteriorated. This is the Gallente Police Department, which is Chad Flame's team.
Ooh, this is elimination match possibly for Gallente
Police Department.
Yeah,
they lost their first one.
No, they won. They won.
They won against the gun-burning boundary
Yeah,
people.
that's what it was. Yeah.
So in the first set, their bans are the same as this time as they were last one. So they're banning the Armageddon, the Dominics, and the Caries. Banning strong neuting battleships, which would suggest to me that they want to bring something that has
a ban incoming for sure.
Cap guns. So, well, here they are. They're coming to the arena now. So we can see in just a second. Meanwhile, on the other side, Deteriorated. They banned the Hyperion, the Sentinel, and the Crucifier. So, okay. And so, what do we got here?
Looks like
Deteriorated have gone with an Abaddon.
just like I said.
A Brutix Navy. They have an exec for their Logi. They've got a Molus, a Magus for Lynx, and they have a Phobos in their cruiser slot. And then on the other side, the Gallente Police Department have gone with a Typhoon, a Cyclone Fleet, Celestis, Aurora, Hyena, and Magus. So the Celestis could cause some problems for the Brutix and the Abaddon as they try and kite around. Let's have a look, because they're both in at range. What's this? The Abaddon is a little closer, whereas Gallente Police Department have all come in at 50.
All right, the damp war is going to be the big thing here in the beginning. The Molus and the
so in the frigate versus cruiser matchup, the frigate locks faster, right? So the Molus should be able to.
Farther, so if
the cruiser locks. Yeah. But at the moment, like they are kind of diagonally opposite each other at the moment, so it's not quite maximum. But it's pretty far. Anyway, we're underway, so immediately Lunik is taking damage, and Chad's taking damage as well, so
there's a little DPS there. I mean, they can do that at the moment.
I guess now we see
it's damped so much. Looks like they are focusing on the Molus because it's probably damping them out, and I think he's just gonna eat it once those missiles hit. Oh yeah.
So let's have a look.
Save this. This Molus is gonna just die.
He's
catching reps.
No, I think he's still gonna go down though.
Yeah, he has to. Oh, he's down.
There he goes. Okay.
But the Augur is going down. They're going right to the Magus next. That's good. Get them links out of there.
And notice
the Augur keeps taking DPS. I don't know, man. I don't see. The exec is safe out of range here. He's got a lot of rep drones for the other side. Really should have those rep drones on that Magus. I don't know what they're doing here.
Well, there's no rep drones on the Gallente Police Department side, like on the Org at least, right? So he is going to slowly bleed. I guess it depends here if this is the Abaddon is able to apply some damage. So eventually they're gonna get him. Although
the exec now taking DPS.
Yeah, I guess they've realized they couldn't quite get the Magus, so now they're swapping, right? And it's gonna be a So now we're racing on Logitrade.
Yep. The thing is that Phobos is chasing that Typhoon right now, so it's making Chad. Ashtorp is putting a lot of pressure on, getting Chad away from them. And as I say that, the Augur goes down for Chad's team, but Tatluff Artson and the exec on the deteriorated team is also getting down there.
Yeah, he does have rep drones on him. There's not a heap of them.
It's a decent amount. I mean, there's
and they're mediums. They're medium. They're all medium
mediums
bots.
and lights.
Yep. So I get the question here that I don't know is
Ansel runs out, it's over, and with the Typhoon already at the damage where it is.
The question is Chad Flame flying a? There it goes. He dies. So
a pulsar beam.
Look at this. Chad Flame in the Typhoon. Is it cruisers or is it rapids? And I don't know. Meanwhile, he's tackled now though. The Phobos is finally caught him.
Jackdaw died. I would guess it would be RHML, but
but he's tackled.
This Phobos dying is a huge thing because if this Cyclone fleet should die a little quicker than it is right now, but the Phobos is gonna die,
which means Chad's gonna get Typhoon again.
Yeah. So he's away again now.
He can MJD, and he's known for his MJD in his battleship comps. So I assume if he takes any more damage, he will just jump away. And right now there's a Magus kind of trade going as well. At least there was. And their Magus goes down. This quickly turned back to Chad's team.
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna MJD here. Hang on, let's zoom in on him. He's certainly on the beacon. He is taking damage from the Abaddon. I think.
Derek, can you update team names? On the stream.
Team names should be. All right.
Here he goes. He's turning. I think he's gonna activate here as he's going into structure. He needs to do it now. Here he goes.
He can. Oh my gosh, he's starting.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
I think he makes it. He makes it.
Yeah. There he goes.
Oh, Chad.
Jump to safely.
Chad to safety. Oh, how far is he? 95 only. He's good. He's good, folks. Good MJD play.
So he's outside of range, and he's still shooting. So I think it must be cruise missiles.
Well, this hyena's doing its job by holding things away from being able to chase, and then they can't keep applying to the sci-fi that looked like it was going to go down, and they stopped on that Megas, and I think that really hurt them because the links going away for the Abaddon and the Brutix Navy. Like Brutix Navy still probably has skirmish links, but I don't know how much that's doing at this point.
Yeah, and the Brutix is just slowly taking damage from
Sci-fi,
yeah,
and
they're just doing well to just kind of sit at range.
Yep, just staying awake, staying alive, moving right on through to the tournament.
The Celestis is just kind of they're all just kind of like down below, just safely out of range.
Oh yeah.
As he goes into structure now.
Mm-hmm.
I like
good
theoretically
job, Chad Flames team.
Theoretically, an Abaddon has it has the damage, like to do this. If he can kill the Typhoon,
absolutely he does, because he can ignore. He can ignore the hyena. Oh wow! Goes for the hyena. He gets hit. The hyena wasn't moving. That's why.
Well, the hyena's got him webbed, right? So which means that he can't get into range of Chad. His maximum range with pulses is what, like 70-ish?
Scorch?
Yeah. Maybe a little bit further with radio, but
radio's definitely further, but
like in this Chad's would have had a chance to reload now though, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe he doesn't have reps because he's not repping at all.
No, I know.
He's not taking any damage, so he's regaining shields because he's far enough away from the
Abaddon, which is being webbed. Yeah. So that's yeah. He's just being webbed. He's trying to kill the Cyclone, but
Cyclone is just fine.
I mean, he can lock at least, which is good. Which means
that's pretty far. 43, 128. He's too far. Like there's nothing really he can do.
No.
Yeah, he's calling it already.
He's just slow boating around, being webbed by a hyena. This is pretty miserable. pretty miserable, I would say.
Yeah, there's just not a lot to be done here. If you can't reach out and touch that Typhoon, you are kind of dead in the water and feeling bad for it too.
It's the interesting choice to be made, right? Like between when you're thinking about if you're going to bring an armor, like an Amarr battleship, like to do damage with, it's like, do you go for the extra survivability of the Abaddon and kind of give up the projection, or do you go for the slightly less tanky APOC but have the ability to shoot further? Like it's and that's kind of like the trade you're making based on. But even here, like a cruise Typhoon shoots further than an APOC, but an APOC shoots further than a rapid heavy Typhoon, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Although it's armor, so you get more mid slots. So anyway, this one's done.
It's Jover, don't you know?
Yeah, it was close for a while there, and then.
Oh yeah, I thought maybe they were gonna pull it out there and just absolutely stop Chad's team, and I called it. That seemed like that's what was gonna happen. I called it way too early. So again, congratulations to the Galente Police Department for making it to the main tournament. That's awesome.
Commiserations to Deteriorated. Does that mean are they still in?
I don't have the brackets. They have matches tomorrow.
Okay, well, they get another chance.
Pretty sure. I didn't see him fly earlier, so. We got our last match of the day here. SPDR, Sub-Peer Dom Review against B-Side, Bright Side of Death. Blue screen,
meanwhile,
I like to call it.
On the other stream, Edict is playing versus Mea Culpa. is a Hyperion versus an Armageddon. So this is the spot where the Hyperion could struggle if it gets a full set of Armageddon newts on it, because it'll just turn off his guns and he can't do anything. He is untackled currently. The Hyperion, he is able to just move around the arena, but the Geddon is very close to him. It looks like it's a rail Hyperion again, just based on the fact that he is shooting from a distance against the VNI. The Geddon. Yeah, look.
Yeah, he is out there.
I think he's out there. So, although the Vexor doesn't seem to be taking much in the way of actual damage, no, but I would think if it was Blasters, I think if it was Blasters, he'd want to be in. But it looks like the Geddon is very close to him, so that's not good for the Hyperion. And eventually he'll just
doing shit either.
Meanwhile, the Geddon is also free. It's very hard to tackle an Armageddon. It really is hard to tackle an Armageddon.
Just need a NOS really on a small ship. You can.
Yeah, that's probably your best bet. What do they got? I mean, Edict have an Ashimu, and a Magus isn't going to do any tackling. But yeah, the Hyperion and the Prophecy are being TD'd, I guess, by the Sentinel. Yeah, the Vexor is taking damage though. He's going deep into armor.
Yeah,
although
about to eat some shit here. But yeah, this is the Ashimu at this point.
Edict's Orbra is being neutered by the Geddon, I think. Hang on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Org's being neutered. He's also webbed. So
Vexor Navy catching.
He's living.
Zerathol making sure his boys stay alive.
The Kitsune of Edict just got absolutely deleted. So that means that the Org is no longer going to be any.
Did he boundary?
I don't know. No, he was taking damage.
Oh, okay.
He was taking damage. He I guess, got a good hit. Although they only have drones, so.
That's why I see the drones around him. That's why I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah, so I don't know. And then
it looks like he's just past it. Did he?
They've lost their Ashimu as well now. And their Magus is
here we go.
Scrammed. Okay, yeah, okay, so this is the last match of the day?
Yep. We have SPDR in the red and Bright Side of Death in blue.
Mm-hmm.
For bands, for SPDR, they have Typhoon, Carry, Sentinel, and Bright Side of Death has Pontifex, Magus, Ashimu. And we get on grid.
So
it looks like, they're bringing an APOC. Yeah, SP's bringing an APOC, Harb Navy, Executor, Phobos, Hyena, Stork. While DSOD brings Raven. Yeah, Raven is what are they called? Who is this again? Bright Side of Death is bringing Raven, Cyclone Fleet, Orthrus, Osprey, Jackdaw, Maulus. Maulus is going to stop that APOC from doing what it needs to do. The APOC and the Phobos and the Harb Navy need to kill that Maulus.
They need to kill the Maulus.
Or just go on the Osprey. It's one of the two.
Can someone confirm if this is another Torp Raven situation?
They are at range.
I think
they are at 50, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything.
That's true. So can one of you take a quick look and see
let me have a look and see what I can see on this Raven. What do cruise missiles look like?
Cruise missiles are a square with a single missile inside of them. Torpedoes are a square with 3 missiles inside of it. And then rapid heavies are a bank of fucking missiles in a launch.
So it's not rapids. It's not rapids. Hang on, let me look and see. What's that?
And yes, that is your tournament tournament description of how do you decide what missiles is your enemy battleship bringing?
It looks like it's got like I'm struggling to zoom, so
hold on and scroll in.
Yeah. Give me a second. Here we go. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 missiles on each side. So it's rapids.
Wait, no, on every like.
It's got like 2 wings.
Yeah.
And each wing has 6 missiles on it.
Yeah, but in each like segment of missiles, it should be like a little box if it's torpedoes or cruise.
Yeah, and it's like a little T-shaped thing, kind of.
Oh no, that's rapid heavies.
You can tell my ability is of like knowing what stuff is
if it's
high quality.
if it's like a hard point with a T shape hanging off it, that's rapid heavies.
Yeah, okay.
The match is off.
I believe
the
it's
red
rapid
team.
heavies.
Let's see,
Rapid heavy Raven. Here we go.
And
there's the Maulus damage. Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That Maulus is just getting. But he might catch. He's cool.
He has
reps like a boss. Oh my gosh.
And then we've got the Hyena taking damage correspondingly on the SPDR side as well.
From an Orthrus and a Jackdaw, but he's turned around and run away, and now they have decided that they are going to shoot the exec.
And
I mean, that's the good play right there. He's just getting deep.
He's taking a lot of damage.
He has so minimal of rep drones on him.
Jackdaw in armor, like the damage
can
backwards and forwards. There
he goes.
Dang, that's an APOC and Harp Navy doing work right there. Here goes the Maulus also.
Reps, and the Maulus going again, yeah. Maulus.
Oh, if they can synchronize those reps, they will snap
it.
Issue. He's down.
Now they're on the Orthrus, already taking a lot of damage. Obviously, he's going to start repping here. But SPDR have a command and control right now. Their exec is staying alive. This Orthrus is just going to get snapped right through its shield.
Is this Orthrus XLASB, can he just like do enough to let this Osprey do the work?
He can only do 9 of them, and then he has to deal with only an Osprey, and I don't see an APOC letting go of that Orthrus. They're just going to keep shooting it. And yeah, look at that, right onto the Osprey. That's what they should be doing at the beginning. Look at that. Oh, Osprey in armor, going hull.
They were possibly waiting for that Osprey to pull in just a little bit closer to get those reps on. And because that is the real tricky thing. Oh god,
the Osprey just out.
But the Execra as well. He's bouncing, and this is the really tricky thing with a T1 Logi Cruiser. You've got only so much range, and if your team are pushing in to try and get damage on something, you have to follow them in to get the reps on. And if you don't get the reps on, they die. And if you do follow them in and you get the reps on, you expose yourself to so much potential damage.
Orthrus down as well.
Trade for the Execra, but is it too little too late? Cyclone Fleet and a Raven versus Harbinger Navy, Phobos, Apocalypse. Ooh.
Yeah.
And this Hyena still just like... Hyena being chased a little bit by drones, but not many.
Yeah, I mean, they're shooting the Stork now, which is pretty good. They have no Logi, so that should die pretty quick, just to missiles alone from the sci-fi.
What is the Stork?
I mean, an armor Stork is an interesting decision, because the Stork is bonus for shield info.
Right. And you have a two slot low. There it is, just absolutely deleted.
Especially in this match and this comp, where like the Pontifex is not banned and the Magus is not banned and even the Bifrost is not banned. Why do you bring a Stork in an armor comp? I mean, really?
I wonder if that was just a mistake.
But it isn't going too badly for them, even with that sort of questionable theory crafting decision. The Hyena is slowly recovering with rep bots, so that's a
shield
thing.
Regeneration. Yeah, I mean, there's no way this has been over.
And the Cyclone Fleet, is now below half armor.
He just MJ'd.
Yeah, but he's only got so much damage range.
The Hyena finally went down.
And he's still taking damage.
Away.
He's still taking damage from that Harbinger Navy and that Apocalypse.
He is. Yeah. There he goes.
So we're now all.
He tried by Midas. He tried.
Rapid Heavy Raven against unlogied Phobos, Harbinger Navy, Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Look at the Raven just.
He's taking a lot of damage.
What is that green line? Is that the long point?
Maybe BSOD should have just got blue screens of death when they got on field.
Is that what that is? Is that the long point animation?
Yeah, probably.
The green line coming out of the Phobos?
Yeah, that'll be the...
Okay, so he's got him long pointed now on the Raven, so...
I mean, he's not going to clip... He'll clip before he kills us Harb Navy, and then... Yeah, this was a good try by Bright Side of Death, but being able to project like that across the field against EM...
this is the
tank ships...
The decision point, right? The decision point here, like, of the projection versus the tank. And in this case...
The tank won.
Projection won.
Yeah, well, they never even shot at the APOC, right? So, like, he was comfortable anyway, and... The Raven is burning for the edge of the arena. He is not going to make it.
He's
he's down, and that's it. Congratulations to the red team, SPDR, and commiserations to Bright Side of Death. Do they get to go again?
I believe so.
BSOD's tomorrow. I don't know where they are though. They're not. They're on the other stream, I think.
They are in Arena 1 tomorrow at 19:30 against Premature Evacuation.
Oh, against Baz's team.
So they'll have some fun there tomorrow. There's not a great many teams that are straight out during today. Most teams have matches today and tomorrow. Obviously, we had 2 matches today with Team Pony, who didn't show up and so have been 0-2'd. They are out. They are in a 4-team group, Team Pony, so the other 3 teams have a chance of figuring it out tomorrow, yeah. Otherwise, it's been a great day. Lots of explosions, as we always expect from these tournaments. Lots of fun. Some interesting little bits of comps, but obviously we've talked about this being a bit more restrictive. And yeah.
Well, I mean, we got to see some interesting like victory things. Like the Rail Roke was pretty good, and the Rail Hyperion.
Oh my god.
Also was good. Lots of Ravens. I would like to. I need to go back and have a look and see how many of the Ravens actually won, because, I mean, you know, talking about like how we get there, like in our testing, we tested the Raven, you know, and so I'm curious to see how many like. It's part of that like whole process, you know, and so I'd be interested to see how many of them actually emerged victorious. So I'm going to go back and rewatch some of the matches and do some maths and see what happened.
We had someone doing it all the way up to the Tempest, Kalsif, and Mia Culpa on our sheet, but then they stopped. So now I have to finish it. Damn it.
That's all right. We'll take a look. Is there more matches on the other stream?
Yep, the last.
There is the last one, but I am gonna close this stream out.
No worries.
Thank you guys for being around for the casting couch, as I've been available as well. We will see you again.
Good luck tomorrow to you.
We will. Thank you. We'll see.
Yeah, our matches are we are the first and the last match of the day. So
in Arena 2, yeah.
In Arena 2, so we will be kicking things off and we'll be closing things out, hopefully with wins both times.
Yes.
Yeah. And we will be back here tomorrow on the EVE tournament stream at 1700 EVE for all of the matches in Arena 2 tomorrow. So
see you later.
We will catch you guys in a bit.